One way that we can get data directly into our Excel spreadsheet is to physically link to it from a web page. Now this is achievable if on a web page you find some text or data that has been laid out in a table format. We can actually link directly to that data so that if the data changes, you can update your Excel without having to do another copy and paste. It just refreshes. So the first stage is to find a page with some data on. So in your browser, we have a page here that is pulling up stock market information. We copy that address. We come then back to Excel, and on the data ribbon, we have an option here to get external data from web. So I click and I then paste the address in here that I've just copied from my browser and then go. And what this will do is it will load up that same web page that I was looking at in my browser, but in this import window. And any of the data that is stored in a tabular format will get a little yellow box and an arrow next to it, like here for the likes and here for the menu. I'm after this stock information here. So I want that table of information there, that table of information there, that table of information there, and that table of information there. And let's have the mutual funds as well. And then we click import. Where do we need to place this in our spreadsheet? Well, I've currently got a blank spreadsheet open, so placing it from A1 onwards is fine. That's okay. And then it goes and collects the current data from that web page and pulls it and displays it on this page. So we can see here, these are our gainers and their price and percentage change. Our losers, price and percentage change. World markets, currencies, mutual funds. Now I can save this information, market data. I can save the file, Control S, save as, and we'll save that into the current chapter, web data. And then I can make use of this data just as I would if it was my own data that I typed in. I could create a little graph, take that information there, F11, and I get a little graph based on that information. Now at some stage, if I want to refresh the data, to tell it to go back to that web page and pick the information up because there might be a different set of gainers, different set of losers, the market levels might have changed, then I simply go to the data ribbon, choose refresh, and if I've got a lot of connections I can choose refresh all. If it's just the current page connections I just choose refresh, and it will then go back to that same web page and pull down the same tables of information. So if the web page had been updated, my Excel file would be updated without any need to repeat the process. Now sometimes the web pages that we're after, if I go back around to my browser, this one here, which is the world populations, I copy the address in a new sheet, sheet 2 here, which we'll call population. I can do the same thing, get external data from the web, paste the address in, go, and it pulls in that same page. Now what you'll find here is that each of those rows of information is actually being treated as a separate table. So if I want the top 20, I would need to select each of the arrows and ticks for the top 20. Then import, place it in A1 onwards, and the data is then generated from that web page and imported to my Excel sheet. Data arrives and you can see listed the top 20 countries by population size. Now this is different to copy and paste. We could just go to that web page, highlight the text, copy, come into Excel and paste. What you're doing here is physically linking your Excel file to that page so that every time you refresh the Excel data, simply by clicking in, data ribbon, refresh. Refresh will refresh this set of data, refresh all will refresh both lots of data that I have. So we'll simply do a refresh. And it will revisit that web page and pull down any changes that might have occurred since you last linked to those tables.